it leans towards some kind of either some kind of space weapons which connects with a Star Wars program, or towards some kind of mind control issue. Is there anything of this that you favor in front of the other, so to speak?
Well, when I got the go ahead on writing, when I first heard about HAARP, I first heard about HAARP about 6 months before I was asked to write the book. Jim Keith and I had put together a circle of researchers working with us on a variety of projects. And in fact, the circle of researchers still meets every Saturday night at the Denny's on Nugget Avenue in Sparks, Nevada. Anybody who's listening who happens to find themselves in Sparks, Nevada, Saturday night around 6 o'clock, go to the Nugget Nugget Avenue, Sparks, Nevada Denny's, and there will be in the back room.
Oh, cool.
Our circle of researchers had gotten Nick Begich's book right as soon as it came off. I mean, our people all listened to Art Bell. Nick was on Art Bell. Got Nick's book. Dr. Nick Begich and Gene Manning wrote the first book about HAARP, Angels Don't Play This HAARP, Advances in Tesla Technology. It came out in 95, and I had heard about HAARP within weeks of that book coming out. And so it was an intriguing thing, and the first thing that really struck me was that the primary funded purpose, and this is amazing. Remember I gave you that list, the 4 things that DARPA says they've done with HAARP?
Yeah, sure.
The primary thing that HAARP was funded by the United States Senate to do is not on this list. The United States Senate was convinced there was a new technology called earth-penetrating tomography. Earth-penetrating tomography has been like CAT scanning the Earth or dirt radar, using either very, very low or very, very high frequency radio waves. Most earth-penetrating tomography is done with microwaves, but they're also using ELF and VLF, extremely low and very low frequency waves. And HAARP is designed to create ELF by blowing apart the molecules of the atmosphere, which give off an ELF scream.
Yeah.
And ELF penetrates deep in the Earth, deep into the sea, and these waves are so long they go all the way around the Earth.
Yeah.
So the idea that the Senate got was that if you have the right guys with the right equipment, they could use this to monitor enemy underground bases for the manufacture and launch of weapons of mass destruction. And in 1993, the Senate held up funding of HAARP, saying you're not going to get any money until you make earth-penetrating tomography a central focus of the project. And the University of Alaska and Air Force and Navy agreed to do that, and they got refunded in '94. And as far as I can tell, they have yet to do it, or that is, they have yet to admit to doing it.
Yeah.
We do know that there are some modes that particularly generate the ELF, that there's a couple of different ways that they do this, a couple of different ways they use it, and that they went into this after September 11th. After the horrific events of September 11th, the HAARP array was on full round-the-clock use for 30 days. And a number of independent researchers have concluded that they were using it in earth-penetrating tomography mode to try and map out the tunnel systems in Afghanistan where Osama bin Laden might have been hiding. This, again, is speculation. The government has never admitted to it one way or the other. I think it's very interesting that even though this project has been, from the get, funded to do this, they have yet to admit to doing it. So they're either not doing it in direct violation of congressional wishes, or they are doing it covertly. And it's probably more likely that they're actually doing it covertly.
Oh, okay. And is this? I guess we could say, that there are multiple reasons for developing a facility and a technology like this, and
I'm sorry. I spaced out. I'm still answering your question.
Okay, sure.
The ELF. I finished up one piece of it, and I forgot. Oh yeah, the ELF that is designed to bathe the world in ELF is at the same frequency that the human brain works at.
There we go. Yeah.
When I realized that they were intending to bathe the entire world in known brain entrainment frequencies, I kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
Because I had been studying mind control since 1976. I met Walter Bowart in 1976 after his book Operation Mind Control came out, and I have been very carefully studying what the spooks have been doing with this. And there have been numerous mind control projects run by the United States government and by private psychiatrists off and on throughout the latter half of the 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we know is that the brain is a radio transceiver, that the human brain is affected by outside signals.
Yeah.
If you go to Nick Begich's website, earthpulse.com, you'll see that he sells a bunch of these devices for access to deep-seated memory, brain boost devices, instant meditation, this sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
These devices exist, and they are real because the brain does entrain. It is affected by outside stimuli in which you can change the brain pattern to change your consciousness.
Yeah.
And when I realized that HAARP was designed to do that, was to be a brain boost machine for the whole planet, I realized that if these guys did not know what they were doing, there are no biological scientists involved in the HAARP project, none.
Yeah.
So they would have no clue what they were doing to humans. And if they were doing this unknowingly, they could inadvertently create mental dysfunction, headaches, road rage across half the planet without having a clue they were doing it.
Yeah.
And if there were a covert ops side of the operation, if they did know what they were doing, this could be the ultimate mind control device, which is why the book is called HAARP, the Ultimate Weapon of the Conspiracy.
Yeah. Yeah, and just as you said at the beginning of the program, you know that DoD and DARPA has been developing it, and DoD now owns it, I guess. And
it's on land owned by the Department of Defense. DARPA has completed its job. DARPA came in under an MOA, a memorandum of agreement, to kick the HAARP project into shape, to finish the build-out. They have finished the build-out, and they're now giving it back to Air Force and Navy. And Air Force and Navy had all along wanted to do Earth-penetrating tomography, communication with deeply submerged submarines, and a number of other facets.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, the question here, by the way, we've got just about 5 minutes left of the show here, but the question is, I guess, as you said, this is a military device, and it's there to gain more effective means of beating the enemy, so to speak. And the question is, who is the enemy?
Exactly. A lot of America's radical left and right will tell you that the enemy is the American public.
Yeah.
The mainstream will tell you that the enemy are terrorists. But that's just the hobgoblin de jour.
Yeah. And what's your take on this? I mean, let's say they bring out, a combination of all this. A Project Bluebeam scenario, and on top of that, some kind of they bathe the Earth in these ELF waves. So basically, everybody starts freaking out over this. I mean, is this a possibility that you see?
Absolutely. What I see is that this project has been treated like a redheaded stepchild for most of the last 15 years. It went for 2 years with zero funding. What I think is going on is that this is sort of a lost in the shuffle backdoor last piece of the Star Wars weapons program, the Strategic Defense Initiative.
Yeah.
And that it may or may not ever come to the attention of somebody big and bad who wants to use it. Right now, it's been drifting a bit. That said, it's now completed. Up until this time, it hadn't been used for much because it wasn't done. They hadn't finished building it yet. Now it's there. Now it's a finished device, and now we're going to start seeing what they're really going to do with it. As for who they are, that's a darn good question. The project began, I think, mostly as pork barrel. I think that it got pushed through the U.S. Senate because Ted Stevens, the senior senator from Alaska, wanted some more military funding funneled into Alaska, and it has had a rocky history, and I don't know. I'm babbling.
No, it's great, and I think we have covered a lot of ground here, and we have about 2 minutes left of the show. So, I mean, is there anything that you would like to leave us with here?
Well, visit my website, jerryesmith.com. I have a lot of research on that website, jerryesmith.com.
Yeah.
It's got literally thousands of pages of data tucked away in it, and you can order an autographed copy of the book directly from the website, or you can pick the book up, HAARP: The Ultimate Weapons of Conspiracy, at any major bookstore in North America. Also, I believe it's pretty well available in the UK. There's also a Polish version of it, so anybody who's listening in Polish can pick up a Polish version of it.
Oh,
and
great.
It just came out in Portuguese in Brazil. In fact, I'm going to be speaking on HAARP in Brazil this coming October.
Oh.
So you can get it at Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble, BarnesandNoble.com, or at the publisher, AdventuresUnlimitedPress.com.
Great. And before we leave here, I would also like to mention that you will be a good friend of mine, Chris Morse, having the Creative Cosmos radio show. You'll be on there next Friday, I guess, June 9th. And
that's correct.
Yeah, speaking about your...
looks like it's 8 p.m. Pacific time.
8. That should be correct. The show is between 7 and 9 p.m. Pacific. So, and you'll be talking about your latest book, I guess, your latest finished book, Secrets of the Holy Lands.
Exactly.
Yeah, so be sure
I'm just finishing up the next book, which I see has just come up available on Amazon.com, and I haven't even finished writing that book yet. Weather Warfare: The Military's Plan to Draft Mother Nature. I expect to have to submit the manuscript here in about 6 weeks.
Great.
And it should be on the stands ready for purchase around September.
Perfect. So everyone, make sure to visit jerryesmith.com. And Jerry, thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
It has been great, and we'll finish off the interview right over here over the phones. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. We'll talk later. Okay?
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you everyone who has been tuning in today. This has been Red Ice Radio, and you have been listening to a very nice interview with Jerry E. Smith on the HAARP issue and the array there. So make sure to tune in next week, and we will be continuing the voyage. Okay, bye.
Trouble so hard, ooh Lord, my trouble so hard. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Don't nobody know my trouble but God.